What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Inside the Horseshoe. My name is Matt, and today I'm going to be taking 5 positions and ranking them from the biggest to smallest need for this team. But before we get into that, if you're new, please click the subscribe button. It would help a lot. Also, click the bell so you're notified as soon as I have a video go up, as well as go live. So make sure you do that. Also, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Comment below. Let me know, what do you think the biggest needs are for this team? So let's get into it. I took 5 positions and obviously ranking them from the biggest need to the smallest need. These are positions I think have a really good chance to potentially be drafted this year by the Colts, but you might not agree with my rankings. This is just going off of what signings we've made and just who we have on the roster right now. So I'm going to start off with the biggest need, and a lot of people say the biggest need is left tackle. We got to go left tackle because Costanzo retired. We got to get somebody there so we can protect Carson Wentz. It's very important to do that, and I agree. However, that's not my number one biggest need, and I'll explain why when I get to it. My biggest need to me is edge rusher. Absolutely edge rusher. You need to have that dominant, elite edge rusher on the field to bring pressure to the quarterback, because a lot of people are going to put their focus on DeForest Buckner. He is by far the best player on that defensive line. So if we have another guy who can get to the quarterback pretty well, let's say like Jalen Phillips, for example, or like a Jason Owe, just naming a couple guys, they're going to have a better time getting to the quarterback. And then the offensive line that we're going up against is going to start putting their focus on the rookie or whoever we add. And then that's going to give DeForest Buckner more opportunities to get to the quarterback. And he already can get to the quarterback pretty well. So that's why I think, honestly, edge is the biggest need. We need to have that guy that can bring pressure. We saw what happened in the Super Bowl. Usually you see, and it's not just this Super Bowl, but past Super Bowls, the winners of those matches always have great edge rushers. You have to have that really good edge rusher to actually compete for a Super Bowl, because we're going to be going up against quarterbacks like Josh Allen. We're going to be going up against maybe Ben Roethlisberger if the Steelers can get their stuff together, Lamar Jackson, Ryan Tannehill, Patrick Mahomes, just naming a few. So we need to have guys that can bring pressure, because we saw what Josh Allen was able to do. He was able to run around and then make some crazy throw. We want to take that away. So drafting edge would be my number one personally. I feel that would put us over the top on defense. And I feel like our defense is pretty good as it is right now. Edge would just make it even better. So that's why I have that as my number one. My number two is going to be left tackle, and it was really close between that and my number three. And the reason why I don't have it as my number one is because I feel like we have the talent to where you can move, Quentin Nelson to left tackle, and you could put Chris Reed, who we signed, who is a good guard. You can put him in as left guard. Like I said, he only allowed 1 sack in this past season and only had, I believe, 1 or 2 penalties on him. And in the previous season, he also only allowed 1 sack. So he's really good when it comes to protecting the quarterback. So that's why I don't have it as the biggest need. However, if we have like a Darisaw available, I think that's where the Colts have to go, left tackle. If Darisaw is available, I think we can get away with Cosme like later. We can maybe even trade back and be at like 27 to 30, and maybe we'll get Cosme. So that would be good. But really, this is a stacked class for left tackle. So even if we don't draft one in the first round, I think we can get a solid left tackle that can start right away. He's going to have some issues because you don't see a whole lot of rookie offensive linemen just doing great things right away. You have the occasional player that can come in and do really well right away. But we still, I think, even if we move Quentin Nelson, I think drafting a left tackle, whether it was in the second round or whatever Chris Ballard does, maybe we get a 3rd round pick or another 2nd round pick. I do think we need to draft a left tackle at some point in this draft class. And even if he doesn't start, he can at least get familiar with the NFL, and then he can become a much better left tackle. That way, when we have to put in that left tackle, we're ready to go. So that's why I have that at number 2. Not the biggest need, I don't think personally, but there's so many left tackles in this draft class. We can draft Eichenberg in the second round. Let's say we get lucky and Jalen Phillips is available. We can get Jalen Phillips and then Liam Eichenberg. I'd say that's a pretty good first 2 rounds. So that's kind of why I have it at number 2, because after a few guys and an edge, there's really not a whole lot that are worth drafting in the first couple rounds. Maybe Basham, but that's about it. So there's my number 2. My number 3 biggest need for the Colts, as far as what I feel, is cornerback. Cornerback, I think, is the third biggest need, because while I do believe our secondary is pretty good, we still had issues towards the end of the season, and maybe that's just how we ran the schemes and whatnot. But we were ranked towards the bottom, if I'm not mistaken, in the last 5 games when it comes to just coverage for our corners. So, obviously we want to have that fixed. Maybe we change the scheme up and then that doesn't happen again and we can still be a top 10 defense. And I know we have Xavier Rhodes, and I think Rock is going to be better. I think he's going to take the steps he needs to become a cornerback number 2. I think we could draft, or we can sign like Richard Sherman in the free agency. He's still out there. We have Isaiah Rodgers. So even though we're fine, it seems like we still lost TJ Carey. We're still not the greatest, and we're going to be going up against some really good receivers this year. So if JC Horn, Caleb Farley are available, you definitely go after them. But besides those 2, because I'm not even throwing Patrick Surtain in the mix because he'll be gone, by pick 12 at the latest. But with those guys gone, there's not really somebody I would draft in the first round over a left tackle and an edge. Those are really the only 2 I would draft over, cornerback, or over a left tackle and edge. I don't think Farley's going to be available. He got really good news with his reevaluation. So he should be a top 10, top 15 pick now. I know he was projected to go lower towards like the second round. I don't think that's going to happen anymore. I think after this reevaluation, he'll be fine. But JC Horn could still be available. If he's available, you go after him. If not, whatever. It's not the biggest need. That's why I have it at number 3. I don't think Rhodes is going to be here next year. Maybe he will, and maybe that will surprise me. But I do think we need to prepare for Rhodes being gone. So maybe drafting somebody in a later round, or if we get lucky, getting JC Horn or Caleb Farley if he falls for some reason. But if not, it's fine. We have bigger needs to fill anyway. My number 4, though, this is where it got really tricky. But for me, I'm actually going to go ahead and I'm going to say tight end. It really could change between 4 and 5 every now and then. But the reason why I'm going to go tight end is it's not a need right now. Like, honestly, we could just go without drafting a tight end and we'd be perfectly fine. You still got Jack Doyle, you still got Mo Alley Cox. You can sign Trey Burton again because he's not on a team at the moment. So we'll be fine. However, Jack Doyle's pretty old. I believe he's 32. He doesn't have a whole lot left. He's got maybe 2 seasons left in him. He's had injuries. He's older. So that's why I think I would put tight end as a number 4. Frank Reich was impressed with Tommy Tremble enough to where he was talking for 45 minutes with the tight end coach. So I think there's a chance that maybe Tommy Tremble gets drafted if he's available in the 3rd round or a later 2nd round pick, depending on what the Colts do with the trades, because they're going to definitely trade. And they're going to get some picks back because they had to lose a pick to get Carson Wentz. That's just that's just Chris Ballard's way to go. So maybe we draft him pretty early. Wouldn't surprise me, especially with the feedback it seems like he's getting from the Colts. So there's that. I know there's the Penn State tight end that a lot of people are really into. So for me, I put it in number 4, but once Jack Doyle retires, we just have Mo Alley Cox. So normally I wouldn't put it as a need because, like I said, we have Jack Doyle, we have Mo Alley Cox. But with Jack Doyle being older and towards the end of his career, that's why I'm putting tight end at number 4. I think we need to get cornerbacks figured out first, left tackle figured out first, because we still don't know what they're going to do, and edge first. Once we get those things figured out, then let's go tight end. But we got another year or two, I think, before we need to worry about it. But still, you never know. Costanzo retired earlier than the Colts thought. Maybe Jack Doyle retires after this year. We don't know. You might as well get a guy like Tommy Tremble now than risk not getting anybody decent, in the draft this year or next year. So that's why I have him at number 4. So my number 5, it's the smallest need, obviously. Really, this could be something we could live without, but I'm going to say linebacker is my number 5. And the reason why I'm going to go linebacker is specifically because we did lose Anthony Walker, which is not cool. I think having another linebacker would be pretty nice. But really, it's not that big of a need. I mean, maybe if like Jeremiah Osua Koromora, I believe I said his name right, if he falls to the second round, I would go after him because I think he's going to be a stud in NFL. So you might as well get him now. Even though it's not that big of a need, it would probably make some Colts fans upset. But really, you have a guy like that available, take him. So if we don't draft a linebacker, I'm totally fine with it. It's not that big of a need. We still got Darius Leonard. We got Bobby Okereke. So I think we're perfectly fine. I mean, maybe we draft him to have 3 linebackers on the field. I don't know when that would happen, but still. And then maybe if Darius Leonard needs to take a breather or Bobby Okereke needs to take a breather, then you can have that linebacker come in. And if you can get a guy that's pretty solid that can go out there and contribute and hold his own, I think that's good. So it's not a need, but still, I can see it somewhat being a need for the Colts. Maybe Chris Ballard feels we need another, a linebacker. So let's go draft one, whether it's in the early rounds or the later rounds. But really, don't think we need a receiver. I don't think we need any safeties. Linebacker's really the one where I could see us maybe drafting. I could see somewhat of a need, but it's really not that big of a need at all. So there we have it. There's my 5. So to recap it real quick, from biggest to smallest need: edge rusher, left tackle, cornerback, tight end, and then linebacker. That is what I have for you guys today. So thank you very much for watching. If you're new, please click the subscribe button once again. I would greatly appreciate it. Let me know down below. Do you agree with my rankings? Is there a position I haven't listed yet? Let me know down below as well. Give this video a like if you like it. All that good stuff. Thank you for watching. I've been Matt, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.